I start cooking when my husband leaves work, giving myself 30 minutes on the clock. Tonight we're having my take on pastaroni. Let's see if I can beat the clock. You guys are gonna laugh so hard. This is the recipe I'm working from. I tested this recipe a couple of weeks ago, and after we had it, Derek was like, hey, did you write that down, because it was really good. So in a mad rush, I grabbed our daughter's little color wonder and tried to write it down. I have done some prep work before I started videoing tonight, just because I wanted to make sure that I was kind of organized, since I'm working from a little bit of a mess of a recipe. The only thing that I have left to chop up is garlic, maybe. I have one large chicken breast that I've cubed up into the smallest possible cubes that I can handle. Then I have a half of a yellow onion that I just chopped up, not finely, it's just minced-ish, and I have some water that's boiling in the background for my noodles. Once I get my garlic chopped up, we'll head over to the stove and we'll get everything put together. This comes together so fast. It's not as fast as doing the pastaroni out of the boxes, but it is a pretty good take on it. Derek and I used to eat pastaroni all the time in college. It's probably part of the reason why I put on a few extra pounds around my waistline. Just chopping up about 6 cloves of garlic. We're gonna head on over to the stove and I'll show you how this comes together so fast. Start by heating up some avocado oil in our pan. You could use olive oil. We're starting out with one chicken breast. I'm gonna season this with salt, pepper, and Kinders, I think is what I did. Sorry, you're not gonna be able to see this very good. Pepper, salt, and our go-to seasoning is Kinder's buttery garlic and herb. Over here I have some water boiling. Going to add half a box of bow tie noodles. You could use angel hair, fettuccine, elbow noodles, whatever you have. We used bow ties this last go around and it was so perfect. Traditional pastaroni like this uses angel hair noodles. Oil is steaming hot. Try not to start a fire. We're gonna drop in our chicken. Now I'm gonna go wash my hands. This chicken's been cooking for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just gonna give it a little while longer. One of the reasons why I do really small pieces of chicken for a dish like this is I don't like big chunky pieces of chicken. I wanna have a consistent bite. So I chop it up super small. We're talking like 1/4 to 1/2 inch size pieces. And it also cooks super fast that way. You want it to be cooked almost all the way through, but it's gonna finish cooking in the sauce later on. So I'm gonna pull this out now. Still a little bit of oil left here in the pan, but I'm gonna add a little bit more before we add our onion. And only because it's towards the front, I'm using olive oil. And then onion going right in. Saute until translucent, 2-ish minutes. Let's go ahead and season this with some salt, pepper. Yes, the handle's broken on this. It just is what it is tonight. A little bit higher than medium heat. Our onions are starting to look perfectly nice and translucent. I'm gonna drop the garlic in. I'm gonna drop the heat down actually a little bit too, because I don't want to burn the garlic. Saute that until it's fragrant. 30 seconds, no more than a minute. Smells so good in here. Next step after this is add 1 cup of chicken broth. Okay, I'm loving these directions. Chicken broth. 1 cup. We're gonna do our heavy cream now actually. And I need a cup of heavy cream. In this recipe a few weeks ago, I used Parmesan. I have like this much left of a Parmesan wedge and I'm saving it for soup. Instead, we're gonna use some Boursin. Boursin. I think it actually is Boursin. I heard that somewhere. So I'm gonna try to say it correctly. But I'm gonna put this in at the end. I don't wanna put it in quite yet. Just the garlic and fine herbs flavor. Also adding in 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. Let this start to boil a little bit. Not boil, but just start to simmer. Noodles have 2 minutes and 15 seconds left before I can drop them in over here. Perfect timing. Just gonna add the chicken back in. Make sure you get all those good juices in here. Our sauce is simmering away perfectly and just starting to thicken up. Noodles are just on the edge of being done. They're still fairly al dente, and I'm gonna drop them in. I don't care if I get extra water in here. That's actually gonna help the sauce thicken up just a little bit. Pasta water is wonderful for thickening your sauces up, so don't throw it away. If you watched last night's dinner, I made some pasta salad with broccoli and cauliflower. I just rinsed off the remaining broccoli. There's like no cauliflower left. I'm gonna drop that into my steamer over here. To help flavor this, I'm gonna drop in some garlic salt, and that is gonna steam right into the broccoli. It's gonna be perfect. We'll finish that with some butter. It is on high heat. This is just working on thickening up. So the last thing that we're gonna do is drop in half of our Boursin, garlic and herb, and let that melt in. This is gonna be so good. They should be home any minute. So we're perfect. We beat the clock. I haven't beat the clock for a minute. This is feeling lovely after last night's dinner. If you watched the Made Right video, I'm so sorry. I was so chaotic. Just gonna let this sit here and thicken up a little bit longer. While we're waiting though, I am gonna taste the sauce. Butter with Boursin. Holy cow, that was good. I gotta throw this back in the sink or else I'll just keep dipping in. Oh, this is good. You have to make this. You have to make this. It's so good. It'd be perfect for a Friday night pasta night. We either do Friday night pizza or Friday night pasta. And this would be a phenomenal Friday night pasta dinner at home. And then save the rest of your Boursin for the football game. This big deal that's going on Sunday night. But you can just sit there and eat Boursin. I might eat some Boursin and some blue cheese. Not together, but those are my 2 favorite cheeses. That might be my game day meal. We usually do nachos. I'll probably do nachos, and then I'm just gonna have cheese and crackers. When Derek and I would eat this in college, we would add frozen peas to it. I think those would be perfect. Broccoli is done over here, and my little trick is to add some butter and let that just drizzle in over it as it finishes steaming. Sam's walking in the door, so I'll be back for the bite. All right, here we are for the bite. I have my steamed broccoli. Burn my mouth. It tastes way better than the pastaroni that we ate in college, but it's still phenomenal. Thanks for sticking around.